Welcome to Marriage God's Way virtual seminar. We do this every first, second, and third of the month. And here we are in the month of October. We give God all the glory and all the praise for allowing us to make it to month number 10 of the year 2025. And even as we begin, whatever it is that you're tuning in from, whatever it is that is going on in your life, whatever season that you're in, why don't you just take this opportunity to just thank God and pray to the Lord, your maker. Present yourself before the Lord that he may bless you, he may nourish you, he may use you, he may be able to work in your life. Just take this opportunity to just thank God. If you've got nothing to pray for, if you're struggling to pray, just tell the Lord, I need you. Just tell the Lord, I need you. Just tell the Lord, thank you. Oh Lord, we thank you. We thank you so much for what you are doing in our lives. We thank you so much for allowing us to make it here today. We thank you so much, oh Lord, for the gift of life, for the gift of salvation, for the gift of love, for the gift of marriage, for the gift of children, for the gift of family, oh Lord. We thank you, Father, for the gift of your word. We thank you, oh Lord, for your leading us and your guiding us. And we've gathered here today, once again, in a new month, oh Lord, to ask you to speak to us, to ask you, oh Lord, to bless us, and to ask you, oh Lord, to guide us through and through when it comes to matters of romance and love. Have your way, oh Lord. We need you. We exalt you. We enthrone you in our homes and in our marriages, in our families, and in our lives, oh Lord. Have your way. We give you glory and honor. Speak to us, oh Lord. In Jesus' name we have prayed, trusting and believing. Amen. Amen. Thank you, every single person. Thank you for joining in. Thank you for keeping time. Let's get straight to it. Let's get straight to it. Allow me to just share the screen. We get to start. I'm sharing the screen. We get to start. My name is Dayan Masinde, your relationship coach and counselor, and we're here to have a great conversation on matters to do with marriage. And our host, Gift Zawadi Love, is won't be on video, but she's here and she invites you and welcomes you. So once again, thank you very much to Marriage God's Way virtual seminar, day 1 of the month of October. And we're here to learn and be revived. So today we are talking about how to get the most out of your spouse, how to get the most out of your spouse. Invite your spouse to love you and enjoy you. Inviting your spouse to love you and to enjoy you. We are here to deal with Marriage God's Way. And as you've seen, we talk about different aspects here in this seminar: finances, children, culture. We talk about different aspects: sex, intimacy, communication, in-laws. And here we are, we're talking about how to get the most out of your spouse, inviting your spouse to love you and enjoy you. So marriage is like a blank canvas. It's like a blank canvas that you can get to see. There's a blank canvas over there waiting to be to be painted on. So whatever you're going to do with your marriage is dependent of what you're going to do. So it is up to you what kind of marriage you will have, whether it's going to be an average one, whether it's going to be a blessed one, whether it's going to be a pathetic one. It's up to what you paint on this blank canvas. So marriage is like a blank canvas. And here we are to be able to know what kind of marriage are you building, what kind of marriage should you build, and how should you go about it? How do you invite your spouse to love you? How do you get the most out of your spouse? So you can't change your spouse, but you can influence him or her. You can't change your spouse, but you can influence him or her. Somebody actually once told me that love is not earned. Love is not earned. It is given. But we can move someone to love on us even more. So you can't make somebody to earn love. Love is not something that you give as a transaction, that you've earned my love, so I'm giving it to you. No. Love is willingly given. But what we can get to do, we can actually move our spouse to the point that our spouse enjoys enjoys to love on us, to the point that our spouse even enjoys to just connect with us and be a blessing to us. So you don't have full control over your spouse. You don't have full control over your spouse. Your spouse is their own unique person, yeah, their own unique individual, and it is up to you to be able to impact them. So you can't control your spouse, but you can impact your spouse. You can impact your spouse through your words and through your actions. It can shape your spouse. Your words and your actions can shape your spouse, which is why we're here. We're looking at how to get the most out of your spouse, how to invite your spouse to love you and to enjoy you. It is possible. So why is it important to be mindful of how you treat your spouse? Why is it important? We're going to look at that. And as we proceed, if you've got any questions that you want to ask, please feel free to write your questions on the comment section. They will be anonymous. The comments are going to be anonymous, meaning no one else is able to see them apart from me. So people cannot know your identity. So if you want to ask something private, feel free to do so. I'm going to answer the questions at the tail end of the presentation. So once again, why is it so important to be mindful of how you treat your spouse? Number one, it is part of the covenant. It is part of the covenant. It is part of the covenant. So you chose not to be single, but to marry. You chose not to be single, but to marry. So here you are, you chose not to be single, but you married. You're no longer single right now. You are married, meaning you entered into this union willingly. You're no longer single, you are married. So marriage is a covenant and you've entered into it. And you are committing to be responsible for somebody's well-being. That's what being married is. You're committing to be responsible, that I commit to be responsible with your heart. I commit to be responsible with you. I commit to walk with you through life. So why should you be mindful of how you treat your spouse? Because you willingly entered into this union. It is part of marriage, being mindful of how you treat your spouse. Look at even what the scripture is saying. But a married man is concerned about the affairs of this world, how he can please his wife, and his interests are divided, meaning the married man is keen on pleasing God and also pleasing the wife because now he's married. An unmarried woman or virgin is concerned about the Lord's affairs because there's no man in her life for her to please. Her aim is to be devoted to the Lord in both body and spirit. But a married woman is concerned about the affairs of this world, how she can please her husband. So even a married woman, she's seeking to please God and also to please her husband. So that's what we mean when you talk about like you've entered into this union willingly. So here you are, you're like, I want to please my spouse as unto the Lord. I want to make my spouse happy. I want to make God happy. So you've entered into this union, so you should be mindful of how you treat your spouse. Number two, you would want your spouse to do the same. Why should you treat your spouse well? Because you would want your spouse to do the same thing. You too would like a spouse who is mindful of you. You too would like a spouse who respects you. You would like a spouse who treats you well and attends to your needs. So you want that. So why don't you give your spouse that? That is what it is that you want. You want respect. You want mindfulness. You want somebody who's thoughtful towards you. You want somebody who considers you. You want somebody who treats you well. So whatever it is that you want, breaking news, your spouse wants the same. So do to your spouse what you would want your spouse to do to you. Whatever it is that you want your spouse to do, do it for them. Even the Bible tells us in Matthew chapter 7, verse 12. So in everything, do to others what you would have them to do to you. For this sums up the law of the prophets. Number three, why you should treat your spouse well. It determines the state of the home. How you're treating your spouse is going to determine the state of the home. So how you treat your spouse is going to affect the mood of the home. It's going to affect the mood of the home. What kind of a home do you have? The question is, what role have you played to create that mood? What role are you doing to sustain that mood? Whether the house becomes a home, it's up to you. It's dependent on how you treat your spouse. Now, number four, why you should be mindful of how you treat your spouse. Why you should be mindful of how you treat your spouse. Number four, it determines your spouse's health. How you treat your spouse determines their health, because the one person in your spouse's life who can affect their physical well-being, who can affect their emotional well-being, who can affect their spiritual well-being, who can affect their financial well-being, their parental well-being, their sexual well-being, it is no other but you. That is how much influence you have on your spouse. You determine so much of your spouse's health. So you have to be mindful of how you treat your spouse. Another reason is that you can be a prayer answered, meaning your spouse is going to God, telling them, oh God, thank you so much for this spouse. Thank you so much for how you're loving me through this spouse. Or you can be a prayer request, where your spouse is going to God in lamentation saying, oh God, my spouse has hurt me again today. Oh God, give me the grace to carry this burden. Oh God, why did you allow me to get into a marriage that is like this? So are you causing your spouse to pray, thank you God, for answered prayers? Or are you causing your spouse to make prayer requests to God in the form of, God, give me the grace to deal with this spouse of mine. God, take away these feelings because my spouse no longer touches me. Take away these sexual urges because my spouse no longer wants to have sex with me. Take, Lord Jesus Christ, these expectations that I have of my spouse, because whenever I have expectations, I hurt. So are you causing your spouse to pray, thank you, Lord, prayers? Or are you causing your spouse to pray, oh God, I need grace to deal in this marriage? What kind of a spouse are you? Number 5, how you treat your spouse is you should be mindful of that, because it determines your own health. If you treat your spouse badly, it's going to come back to you, affecting your own well-being. And if you treat your spouse well, it's also going to come back to you, making you enjoy your marriage. So however you're treating your spouse, you're actually treating yourself. So if you're treating your spouse in a mean way, you're actually treating yourself in a mean way. If you're treating your spouse well, you're actually treating your spouse well. Remember, you two are one. Whatever vibe you're giving to your spouse is coming back to you. It's coming back to you. So how are you treating your spouse? Number 6, why you should be mindful of how you treat your spouse. Number 6, it determines your children's health. So it determines their well-being. When things between you and your spouse are going badly, it traumatizes your child or your children. It traumatizes them, because children don't like to go in a home where mom and dad are at loggerheads. Mom and dad can't even stand each other. Mom and dad are going through a cold war. You're traumatizing these children, affecting their sleep. It can affect their sleep. Some children, the reason why they are wetting their bed, despite them being much, much older in years, is because they're traumatized. Some children, they cannot concentrate. They're flunking and performing poorly in class, yet they used to be so smart, because their concentration is being affected. Their mood is being affected. Their self-esteem, they don't believe in themselves as much. They become perhaps bullies, or they become just these difficult children. It's because of what is actually going on at home between the two of you. Their emotions can be so bottled up because there's no one to talk to. They can't come to mom, they can't come to dad, because mom and dad are busy fighting each other. It can even affect their view of the world. So this is why how you treat your spouse is very important, and you need to be mindful about that. So when you treat your spouse well, the children also benefit. How you're treating your spouse, the children are also benefiting from that. And the Bible tells us, if anyone causes one of these little ones, those who believe in me, to stumble, it will be better for them to have a large millstone hung around their neck and to be drowned in the depths of the sea. Matthew chapter 18, verse 6. And tied to that is number 7. Why you should be mindful of how you treat your spouse, because God is watching. God is watching how you treat your spouse. You are and you will be accountable to God for how you treat your spouse, who, like you, your spouse, just like you, Jesus Christ died on the cross for them. Your spouse, just like you, is God's child. So God is watching. God is watching. God is watching how you're treating your spouse. And also God is watching how the environment that you're creating at home is affecting the innocent children that God has blessed you with. Number 8, why you should be mindful of how you treat your spouse. It attracts blessings. It attracts blessings. When you treat each other well, it attracts unity. And the unity attracts blessings. When you're united, when you are united in Christ, united in purpose, it attracts blessings. Psalm chapter 133, verse 1 and 3, it reads, how good and pleasant it is when God's people live together in unity. For there the Lord bestows his blessing, even life forevermore. So do you want blessings in your marriage? Be united. Do you want blessings? Do you want your marriage to be blessed and to be highly favored? Guess what? The Bible has given you the formula. Have unity. Live in unity. Live in harmony with each other. You're going to attract blessings. Why you should be mindful of how you treat your spouse. Number 9, why you should be mindful of how you treat your spouse. It is part of you being a witness and an ambassador for Christ. It is part of you being a witness and an ambassador for Christ. You ought to be a witness to your spouse. Before you go to Judea, Samaria, and the ends of the earth to be a witness, you need to be a witness in Jerusalem. And your Jerusalem is at home. Your Jerusalem is at home. Jesus Christ sent the disciples, go and witness and ambassadors to Jerusalem, Samaria, Jerusalem, Judea, Samaria, and the ends of the earth. So how is your Jerusalem? How are you treating your spouse? How are you treating the one that you're married to? How are you treating your children? How are you treating the ones that are in your home? Can they testify of your witness? Can they say, indeed, this man is a man of God? Can they say, indeed, this woman is a woman of God? Can they say, indeed, this father of ours is a man of God? This mother of ours is a woman of God? Can the people who live in your home, who know you better than the people in your church congregation do, can they testify of your witness? Why you should be mindful of how you treat your spouse. Number 10, it brings fulfillment. Why you should be mindful of how you treat your spouse? It brings fulfillment. Oh, as you treat your spouse well and watching your spouse smiling because of you and glowing because of you, you're going to feel good about yourself. Imagine just feeling like, hey, I'm the reason why this spouse of mine is happy. I'm the reason why this spouse of mine is just glowing and giggling. And look, people are saying how well she looks, how radiant she looks. Oh, it's because of how good I'm loving on her. It's people are saying how this husband is looking so nice, how this man is so blessed. Guess what? It's because of the wife who's actually just loving him well. So imagine that. Now, how to get the most out of your spouse. You're going to look at very practical ways that you can use to get the most out of your spouse. Number one, decide to be fully married. Decide to be fully married. That you've decided, I have decided that I'm married. So are you 100% in or are you 100% out? Make up your mind. Are you in or out? You won't get the most out of it with lack of commitment. If you don't have commitment, you won't get the most out of your marriage. So have you decided, are you in or are you out? So this gives your spouse assurance and affirmation. When you want the most out of your spouse, decide, I do. Even today, October 1st, 2025, I do. I'm in this marriage. I do. So decide, are you in or are you out? James chapter 1 verse 8 reads, a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. And number 2, how to get the most out of your spouse. See your spouse as precious, that your spouse is precious and valuable. You know, someone who doesn't value gold will throw it away. If you give somebody a gold and they don't know what they're holding in their hand, they will just place it anyhow and maybe even discard it or throw it away because they don't know the value. Do you know the value of your spouse? Do you know how precious your spouse is? Could it be that people outside over there, they're celebrating your spouse more than you are celebrating your spouse? Other people are seeing value in your spouse. They're seeing the precious nature of your spouse. They're seeing gold in your spouse, but you're not. Because your spouse was once the gold that you're digging for. You were digging for that gold. You're digging for that gold. You're praying to God, God, give me a spouse, give me a spouse, give me a spouse. Now God has given you that gold. God has given you that spouse. How are you handling it? Are you preserving it? Are you taking care of the treasure that God has given you? Do you see the value in your spouse? Because if you don't see that value, you're going to take your spouse for granted. You're going to take your spouse for granted. Now you can see on the screen, there are 2 images. The first image, it is one couple. This is in one of my couple events. So I got this husband and wife to just dig. So they were digging. So this was a demonstration of how their life was before they met each other. They were digging for love, digging for gold. And then now the second photo, they found each other. They found gold in each other. They stopped digging now that I've found my treasure. And so this is the same thing with you. You're married right now. You once were digging for that gold. You once were telling God, maybe even fasted, or you even prayed. You told God, God, if you give me a spouse, I'm going to love on that spouse very well. God, I will dedicate this house. I will dedicate this home. You are just like Hannah, who prayed, God, if you give me a child, I'm going to dedicate that child to you. You are praying, God, if you give me a marriage, I'm going to dedicate it to you. God answered your prayer. You have your gold. Are you holding that gold as precious, or are you taking it for granted? Something to consider. Number 3, how to bring out the best in your spouse. Number 3, do not mistreat your spouse. Don't mistreat your spouse. Catch yourself when you're about to be mean. In case you're about to be mean, catch yourself. Catch yourself when you're about to be unfair. You're being unfair towards your spouse. Catch yourself. You know, that's what being self-aware is. You are aware you're heading that direction. Catch yourself when you're about to be tough, you know, on your spouse. You're like, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. Catch yourself when you're about to insult. You can feel it. There's that word is about to come out. That curse word is about to come out. You can feel it. You're about to say something very nasty. Catch yourself. Hold your tongue. Catch yourself when you're about to put down your spouse. You're about to talk to your spouse as if they are a child. You're about to demean your spouse rather. Mistreating your spouse will hinder your prayers. It's going to hinder your prayers. And the Bible tells us in 1 Peter, verse 3 to 7, and it reads, chapter 3 and 7, it reads, likewise, husbands, live with your wives in an understanding way, showing honor to the woman as the weaker vessel. This doesn't mean that the woman is inferior. It just means that her physical makeup, even just who she is, you know, she may not be as strong as the man, but we're supposed to treat her well, since they are heirs with you of the grace of life, so that your prayers may not be hindered. How you're treating your spouse can even affect your prayer life. So treat your spouse well. Do not mistreat your spouse. Number 4, how to get the most out of your spouse. Let your prayers match how you treat your spouse. Are you a prayerful person? Oh, thank the Lord. Wonderful. You're praying. You pray even for like an hour. You wake up in the morning at 3 a.m. and you pray. Oh, wonderful, wonderful. You're a prayer warrior. You even have that prayer warrior tag. You have a bumper sticker written, I'm fervently and the effectual and fervent prayers of a righteous man avails much. You've got all these wonderful quotes about prayer. But guess what? Do your actions match your prayers? When you're treating your spouse, are they in line with the prayers that you're making? You fasted and prayed at the beginning of the year for your marriage. Have your actions in this year been in line with that prayer? You've been over there telling God, God, bless my spouse. God, do this for our home. How are you treating your spouse? Are your prayers and your actions in alignment? Or are you that Christian who is very good at praying, but terrible in speaking with their spouse? You're good at praying. When you can talk to God, oh, you talk to God so well. Oh, God, I bless you. Oh, God, you're so gracious. Oh, Jesus, you love me too much. Oh, too much. Oh. But then when you're speaking to your spouse, you're mean. You're indifferent. You're tough. You're cold. Maybe you're not even speaking to your spouse. You're giving silent treatment. And there you are saying you're a prayer warrior. The Bible says that, how dare you say that you love the God that you don't see, yet you're hating, mistreating the person that you do see, the brother, the sister that you do see. So are your prayers in line with how you're treating your spouse? Are they in line with how you treat your spouse? Something to consider. Number 5, how to get the most out of your spouse. Appreciate your spouse. Appreciate your spouse. Appreciation makes your spouse feel energized to do good. Oh, whenever we are appreciated, oh, it's natural. Any human loves being appreciated. So don't be stingy with your thank you. When your spouse does something good for you, tell them thank you. Thank you, honey. Thank you, darling. Thank you for that. Thank you for, thank you for what it is that for coming through for me. Thank you for being reliable. Thank you for that. The more you're thanking your spouse, you're bringing out the best out of your spouse. Number 6, teach your spouse how to love you. Let your spouse know this is how you want to be loved. How do you bring out the best in your spouse? You teach them how to love you. Teach them how to love you. Maybe your spouse is not bringing out their best because according to you, maybe they're not bringing the best according to you because they don't know. They don't know how you want to be loved. They're not aware. They're not aware of how you want to be loved. So how do you want to be loved? So teach your spouse how to please you. Teach your spouse how to please you. You can let your spouse know, hey, I love it when I cook with you. I love it when I cook with you. You can let your spouse know, I love it when you give me space to talk without advising me too quickly. You can tell your spouse, hey, I love how you talk to me during love making because it keeps my mind from wandering around. I love it when you do that. When you're talking to me during love making, it makes me feel good. So this is you communicating to your spouse. This is how I want you to love me. This is how I want you to love me. Number 7, respond. Don't react. Respond, don't react. Respond, don't react. You can be able to realize that, that's a very, very wonderful thing to do in your marriage. So your spouse will occasionally say or do things that won't sit right with you. It's given. Your spouse is human. Your spouse is growing. No one is perfect. So yes, your spouse will say some things that won't sit right or do some things that won't sit right with you. The question is, when they occur, how are you going to handle it? In those moments, don't react by attacking your spouse, by judging your spouse, by quitting the marriage or threatening to quit the marriage. Oh, I'm done, I'm so done with this. Or calling your spouse names. Hey, you good for nothing, you imbecile, you all this kind of stuff. Or you're revenging because of what it is that you've done, your spouse has done, now you seek to revenge. That's reacting. Reacting in the flesh complicates the issues and pushes your spouse away. As you keep reacting, you're chipping away the bond between you two. You're no longer as close as you should be. But responding, on the other hand, is being led by the Spirit. You're being led by the Spirit. You're being objective. You're like, yeah, I'm aware you're a human, and maybe you're having a bad day, or maybe we misunderstood each other, you know? So you're rising above the issue. You're rising above the issue or the misunderstanding, and you're choosing the path of repair. Also, you've done something wrong to me. I'm not going to be here to revenge on you. I'm not going to hit below the belt. Oh, you've done this, now I'm going to do that. Nah, that's reacting. But responding, you're like, okay, that didn't go right. No, that you shouldn't have done that. But how can we repair? How can we reconcile? How can we have peace? Romans chapter 8, verse 14. For those who are led by the Spirit of God are the children of God. You know, so let's operate as children of God, even in our marriages. Number 8, how to bring out the best out of your spouse. Be a safe space to talk. Be a safe space to talk. Be a safe space to talk. Very, 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 very important for you to be able to realize that. So when your spouse can feel safe to talk to you, when your spouse can feel safe to talk to you about anything, about their struggles, their fears, their addictions. Hey, honey, I'm addicted to this. Hey, honey, when I was younger, this is the kind of habit I started doing. Hey, honey, this is what I've been struggling with. When your spouse is able to talk to you about their weaknesses, their concerns, their desires, you're lightening the load. You're showing them that, hey, you don't have to go through this life alone. And once that load has been lifted, once you have somebody who can hear you out, once you have somebody who can give you a shoulder to lean on, guess what? The best out of you just comes out. So it will happen also to your spouse. When you give them that person, that shoulder to lean on, that safe space to talk, you're going to bring out the best in them. They're just going to find out that, hey, I'm enjoying doing life with you. And simply because you gave your spouse a safe space to talk. Number 9, how do you bring out the best out of your spouse? Use humor to lighten the mood. Humor is so important. Oh my goodness. Humor, you can find yourself laughing even in the middle of the night. You're just laughing because of a joke that your spouse has said. You're laughing until your stomach hurts. You're just reflecting on that particular joke. You're like, oh my goodness, that was hilarious. That was hilarious. So humor makes people relax. It makes people relax. So when you have humor in your marriage, it will make both of you relax. When people are relaxed, they bond better. We bond better when we are relaxed, when we are laughing. We create memories when we are laughing, when we have humor, when you're relaxed. We also become less defensive. You know, we become less defensive and argumentative. Realize that when there's arguments and defensive posture in marriage, people rarely laugh. But when there's laughter, you know what? Even serious issues can be dealt with in a very, very easy manner. Now, I'm just going to show you faces of some of my couple events. This was one particular one in a wonderful church congregation. Just look at those wonderful smiles. Husband and wife just laughing. Look at that. Look at that. Just a sense of humor. This was one of the couples retreat that we were having. Sense of humor, having a good time, just laughing. As you can get to see, everyone is just relaxed. Everyone is just relaxed, comfortable, connecting well with their spouse, their darling, their sweetheart, their honey. Number 10, how you can be able to bring out the best in your spouse. Number 10, allow God to move in your marriage. Allow God to move in your marriage. Hey, God is gentle. He's not going to force his way in your marriage. He's not going to force his way into your marriage. God is waiting for you to allow him to move in your marriage. The Lord is willing to bless your marriage. Are you willing to let your marriage be blessed? Are you willing to relinquish control and tell God, God, here, take this relationship, take this marriage. Put down your ego and your tough stance. Stop being so, this is how I want things to go. This is how things must go. This is how, no. Release it. Release it to God. Stop standing in the way of God. Stop obstructing the move of God in your marriage. God is not going to force his way in your marriage. And as you do so, as you relinquish control, the Lord is going to bless your home. The Lord is going to nourish your home. The Lord is also going to bring out the best in you and the best in your spouse. Matthew chapter 8, verse 2 to 3. A man with leprosy came and knelt before him and said, Lord, if you are willing, Lord, you can make me clean. Jesus reached out his hand and touched the man. I am willing, he said. Be clean immediately. He was cleansed of his leprosy. The Lord is willing. The question is, are you willing to allow the Lord to be a blessing? The Lord is willing to bless your marriage. The question is, are you willing to allow the Lord to bless your marriage? Are you willing to relinquish control? Number 11, how you can bring out the best in your spouse. Let your spouse be their unique self. Let your spouse be themselves. You're different from your spouse. You may be one, but you two are different. And so one of the best ways of bringing out your spouse is when you stop forcing your spouse to think like you. Your spouse can't think like you. They're not raised the same way you are raised. They did not experience life the same way you experience. So don't expect your spouse to think like you. All of us, we are believers, we are Christians. But even our experience with God is different. All of us, we are unique. Our upbringing is unique. Our personality is unique. Our thinking is unique. The way we view life is unique, but we serve one God. That's the beauty of being part of the body of Christ. We're all different and yet one. So your spouse can't think like you. Your spouse can't make decisions like you. So don't force your spouse to be like that. Your spouse, can't like the hobbies that you care for. Just because you like knitting doesn't mean your spouse is also going to like knitting. Just because you like playing football doesn't mean also your spouse is going to like football. Just because you like this. So relax. You don't expect your spouse to behave like you, Don't expect your spouse to pray like you. Maybe for you, your prayers are loud and, powerful in the sense that, you have so much oomph as you pray, but your spouse is gentle in their prayer. Even pray for so long, but that's how they pray. It doesn't mean that they are not good at praying. It's just how they pray. Your spouse has a different personality than you. You might be very extroverted. Put you in any crowd, you will get along with people. When you go to church services, there you are, you're talking to everyone and anyone. But then your spouse might be introverted. Your spouse likes intimate spaces. Your spouse doesn't, when people, it doesn't sit well with them. So maybe even when people come to visit you too, your spouse doesn't talk as much. It doesn't mean that your spouse is not welcoming. It doesn't mean that your spouse, hates people. It's just that you two have got different personalities. Allow your spouse to be themselves. Don't also force your spouse to be like others. You're telling your spouse, why can't you be like so-and-so? Huh? Why can't you be like so-and-so? Why can't you do, those friends of ours, look at what it is that they're doing. No. Allow your spouse to be themselves. Let your spouse be themselves. Agree on values. You can agree on values because values are unique. What are the values? Are the values, integrity? Are the values faithfulness? Are the values perhaps, we're going to be good communicators? Those are values that you can be able to agree. But then the personalities, they may be different. Hobbies are different. Taste of food is different. Some people take a long while to arrive at decision. Some people are very quick to arrive at decision. Some people, you will have to tell them, okay, something, and then they will come around eventually. Some people, you just tell them, well, that's all you need to do. We are all different. Your spouse is different from you. So don't expect your spouse to see what it is that you see as important. Just because something is very, very important to you doesn't mean that automatically it's going to be important to your spouse. Your spouse might be wondering, what's the big deal about this? Why are you losing sleep over this? Because that thing is important to you, but it's not important to your spouse. It doesn't mean that your spouse hates you. It doesn't mean that your spouse doesn't care. It just means that you two are different. So allow your spouse to be their unique selves. Number 12, notice your spouse's effort. Notice your spouse's effort. So whenever your spouse does something great, let them know, hey, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you. If your spouse, perhaps, if your spouse has just achieved something, having a graduation, like, oh, okay, you're graduating on Wednesday, darling, I'm proud of you. Or your spouse is perhaps has started a business and you're like, oh my goodness, you've got wonderful sales and, oh, I'm so proud of what it is that you look at the margins, like, oh, I'm proud of you. Your spouse is perhaps traveling somewhere and they've managed to conquer a certain thing. They've climbed up the mountain. You're like, hey, they've gone hiking. They're proud of you. Your spouse has done a great presentation. You're like, that was really, really great. That was really, really, really great. Your spouse has done something and you're like, hey, I admire how you work. I admire how hard you work. You're such a hard worker and I admire that. So those words that you speak, they fire up your spouse and makes your spouse want to do more with you and for you. So notice your spouse's effort. Notice your spouse's effort. Number 13, be responsive to your spouse's effort. Be responsive to your spouse's effort. When your spouse gifts you, appreciate the gift. Some people are being gifted and oh my goodness, they're acting as if that gift is nothing. And then you're expecting your spouse to keep on gifting you. Nah, you're discouraging effort. But when you're responsive, your spouse has gifted you and you're like, whoa, you come alive. Your spouse has seen like, oh my goodness, my gift was something as simple as just a simple lollipop. And you just showed such enthusiasm. Wow, that's you being responsive. When your spouse flirts with you, flirt back. Your spouse with you and saying something very naughty to you, flirt back. Don't throw cold water on your spouse's effort. Your spouse has touched you, touch your spouse back. Don't pull away. Don't remove your spouse's hand. Be like, hey, touch up your spouse also. Your spouse kisses you, kiss back. You know, this positive feedback motivates your spouse to do more, So you want your spouse to keep flirting with you, flirt back. Your spouse to keep gifting you, celebrate that gift. Even if that gift you wanted, maybe perhaps you wanted this wonderful expensive bag and then your spouse has just gifted you with a wallet. Take it. Thank you. That's your spouse is making an effort. Thank your spouse. It's better to thank your spouse for that effort and then your spouse improves on that effort than to discourage your spouse on that effort and then your spouse just says like, you know what, what's the point? What's the point of going hard for you? I go hard for you, but you don't see it. Song of Solomon chapter 2 verse 6 is mine and I am his. He browses among the lilies. Your spouse is yours. Spouse's beauty, wonderful blessing. So yes, please be responsive to each other. Number 14, serve your spouse. Serve your spouse. Serve your spouse. Serving each other is a selfless act. Serving each other is a selfless act. So by all, serve your spouse. Serve your spouse. People feel loved when they are served. They feel loved when they are served. And marriage is about service. Marriage is not so much about what are you getting out of it. It's also about what are you giving into it. What are you giving your spouse? Are you serving your spouse? Are you just a taker or a giver? And giving is not just financial. There's so many things you can give. You can give time, you can give counsel, you can give prayers, you can give, just that care, that support. There's so much you can be able to give. Are you serving your spouse? Serving your spouse, feel honored. Whenever you serve your spouse, they feel honored. Thereby you're making them come alive, like, whoa, I'm being served at home. I'm being served by my spouse. So serving is supposed to. Now look at this. This is another event that I was doing with couples. So you can get to see the woman is now washing the man's feet. The woman is washing the man's feet. Jesus Christ told the disciples, wash each other's feet. Take care of each other. Serve each other. Principle we need to have in marriage. You can look at the woman washing the husband's feet. And my husband, I'm here to attend to you. I'm here to look out for your needs in this marriage. And also you can look at the second picture. Now the husband is washing the wife's feet. The husband is washing the wife's feet. The man is like, hey, let me take care of your feet. Let me also take care of you. Let me also, it's a symbolic gesture of service. Let me serve you. Let me also meet your needs. So this is a healthy relationship where the needs of the man are being attended by the woman and the needs of the woman are being attended by the man. No one is more important in marriage. So don't be that person who's wanting to be served, but you're not serving. Serve your spouse as your spouse serves you. Now, number 15, speak greatness into your spouse. How to bring out the best in greatness into your spouse. Speak life into your spouse's greatness and potential. I love the book of Proverbs chapter 31 because normally we focus so much on the Proverbs 31 woman. We forget that there's a Proverbs 31 husband who looks at the wife and tells her, you are blessed. He's speaking greatness into her. Speaking greatness into her. You are blessed and highly favored. Imagine your spouse telling you those words. Imagine every single morning your spouse affirming you and speaking into you. You're blessed. You're destined for great things. Your spouse is telling you, one day the world will see the brilliance I see in you. Because you're the one who sees your spouse before the rest of the people are. So imagine you're telling your spouse, you know what, one day the world will see, one day the world will celebrate because, darling, I see you. You are born for greatness. You're speaking greatness into your spouse. Number 16, forgive your spouse. Forgive your spouse. This is another way of bringing out the best in your spouse. Forgive your spouse. You cannot bring out the best in your spouse when you are still holding a grudge. You're still holding a grudge because of that unforgiveness will make you give negative vibe to your spouse. Your spouse will perhaps try their best to grow. Your spouse will be able to do all this kind of stuff, but you won't see it because you're holding a grudge. Your eyes are blinded by the unforgiveness. The eyes are blinded by the holding. Release your spouse and be able to see your spouse in a better way. Number 17, how to bring out the best in your spouse. Don't box your spouse. Don't box your spouse. Don't talk about your spouse as if you've concluded who they will forever be. Just because your spouse did something bad last year doesn't mean they will always do something bad. Just because perhaps hurt you some time back doesn't mean they will always be like that. Just because your spouse, there's a period whereby your spouse was just letting you down and then you're like, you know what, this is who you are, this is who you are. People change, you grow. God is working on every single one of us to become better, So why are you concluding on your spouse, yet their story hasn't ended? God is still working on them. He who started a good work in you is faithful to complete it. So don't conclude on your spouse. Don't conclude on your spouse. Don't judge your spouse based on what they did in the past. You're saying things such as, I know you. You never do this. You're always like that. Why are you concluding your spouse? That is not how to bring out the best in your spouse. You cannot bring out the best in someone when you are still stuck in their past. Bringing out the best in somebody is improving them today for a better tomorrow. So why are you still stuck in the past? Why are you still judging and boxing your spouse based on the past? And number 18, heal so that you don't push your spouse away. How do you bring out the best in your spouse? Heal so that you don't push your spouse away, because your trauma, your triggered self, you get triggered and become this blown up person. You just erupt like a volcano. You're having this pain in your heart. All this will make you come off in an and pushing your spouse away. You're going to just come off as volatile and you're going to push your spouse away. Individual healing heals the marriage. So you need to heal as an individual, and then your marriage is going to find healing. Heal as an individual, then your marriage is going to find healing. Proverbs chapter 15, verse 1, a gentle answer turns away wrath, but a harsh word stirs up anger. Are you gentle in your mouth? Are you gentle with your words? But you can only be gentle when you have healed, when you've worked on healing, when you've worked on your trauma, when you've worked on yourself, when you've worked on the things that get you agitated to the point that you overreact and you do some bad stuff. Heal, heal, heal. And now invite your spouse to love you. And so how to be welcoming? How can you be welcoming? You've seen houses where when you enter the house, there's a welcome carpet that tells people welcome, The question is, visitors welcome to our houses, but is our spouse welcome? Are you welcomed to your space, to you? Are you making your spouse feel like, hey, this woman, when I'm with this man, I'm welcomed? Are you just welcome and you're feeling to welcome your spouse? So how to be welcoming? Number one, tell your spouse you miss them. Tell your spouse you miss them. Like, I miss you, my love. When even just a simple message, even during the day, even though you saw your spouse perhaps in the morning, you can just let them know, like, hey, you know what? Yeah, it was wonderful seeing you in the morning. Like, that was such a wonderful joke we had last night. Yeah, I miss laughing with you. Looking forward to seeing you later. Something as simple as that can just make your spouse feel like, hey, I'm welcomed home. I'm being looked forward to. Look at even how we invite visitors. We tell visitors, hey, look, we're looking forward to hosting you. Feel welcomed. The parking space is enough for you to come. You can just park and then come right in. Look at how you're speaking to visitors. What about your spouse? Can you let your spouse know, hey, I miss you? Can you let your spouse know, hey, I really, really enjoyed spending time with you. That was really amazing. I can't stop laughing. I can't stop thinking about you, or I can't stop that. Like, oh, that was really, really great. Show your spouse that you miss them, that they are important. People love going back to where they are valued. The more you make your spouse feel valued, the more your spouse will look forward to coming to you. Song of Solomon chapter 4 verse 9. You have captivated my heart, my sister, my bride. You have captivated my heart, one glance of your eyes, with one jewel of your necklace. Oof, this is the Bible. Yeah? And you're saying Christians cannot be romantic. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. We're being given tips by in the word of God of how to be able to speak to our darling, our beloved, our queen, our king. You can be able to just let your spouse know, like, hey, I miss you. I just a simple message, a simple phone call, or just something to just communicate, hey, I really, really, really enjoy your presence and I look forward to being with you again. Number two, celebrate your spouse when they approach your presence. So whenever your spouse is approaching your presence, whether it is through a call, they're calling you up, celebrate that, show some warmth and enthusiasm. Imagine your spouse calling you and then you answer that call as if they're bothering you. As if, hey, what do you want? Do you think you're inviting your spouse when you do that? You're not. But you're like, hey, hi, boo-boo. Hi, darling. Hi, hon. You're like, hey, how are you? How are you, honey? How are you, sugar? You're like that, and your spouse is just feeling like, oh my goodness, I'm being. When your spouse is texting you, do you respond well? Like, hey, beautiful, how are you doing, handsome? Are you talking to your spouse well? When your spouse is coming home to you, are you receiving your spouse well? When you meet each other in the car, maybe perhaps you drive home together, are you warm towards each other? When you meet at home, are you warm towards each other? Because if you are indifferent, if you end up looking disinterested and bothered, you are pushing, you're not being welcoming. But showing your spouse warmth and enthusiasm keeps your spouse coming back for more of you. Who wouldn't want to go to a home where they're celebrated? Who wouldn't want to make a phone call to somebody who, when you call them up, they're not complaining, oh, you don't do this or that. No, it's, hey, let's talk. Even just that conversation just starts well. You're like, wow, you are really, you even wondering, you are really looking to receive my phone call. Yes, because I value any time I spend with you. Number three, thank your spouse for spending time with you. When your spouse spends time with you, thank them. Your spouse, you are busy. Maybe you've got children, you've got busy careers, so you're busy. So any moment your spouse gets to spend with you, see it as valuable and something to thank your spouse for. So when he or she spends time with you, maybe perhaps they're staying all night. Your spouse is staying all night to keep you company as you're working on a project. Your spouse is staying all night to keep you company as working on your project. Tell them thank you. I know you sacrifice your sleep, so thank you so much for just staying up with me. I appreciate that. When your spouse makes time for you, like, hey, thank you so much for making time for me. When your spouse calls you, like, they're having a busy schedule and then they've chosen to just call you, like, hey, I'll just call and check up on you. Like, hey, thank you for the call. It means a lot to me. When your spouse goes out on a date with you, they're going out on a date with you, like, hey, thank you, honey. This means a lot to me that you've taken time to just call, like, just you and I without the children. Oh, this is so special. Thank you. The more you thank your spouse, the more you're welcoming your spouse and making your spouse feel welcomed and bringing out the good in them. Number four, avoid drama. Avoid drama. Oh my goodness. Avoid drama. Avoid drama. People gravitate to where they find peace. If you are drama, your spouse will not find you welcoming. So avoid making your thing around you must always lead to a fight. We just can't have a simple conversation. Oh my goodness. Okay. So yes, I left the glass on the table. Must that be a fight? Really? I'm sorry. So I dozed off on the sofa. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm in our own house. Like, what's the problem with it? Just let me know. Hey, honey, let's go to sleep instead of it becoming a fight. Why should every single thing lead to an argument? That is too much drama. Or your spouse is being talked down to. You don't even think. How many times should I tell you this? Your spouse is just wondering. My goodness, dealing with you is just full of drama. So maybe your spouse is avoiding you because you make them feel like they're walking on eggshells. Like, I need to be mindful. If I do this, I'm going to be shouted at. If I do this, I'm going to be complained at. If I do this, that is too much drama. And you're not inviting your spouse. You're not welcoming your spouse like that. Maybe your spouse avoids difficult conversations with you because you end up well. For most adults, it's not that they don't want to have difficult conversations. It's the fear that we can have a difficult conversation and then it goes nasty. And then another difficult conversation, then it goes nasty. I can't deal with that. I'm already coming home from too much stress at work. We've got these children that we need to deal with. Maybe they're teenagers, maybe they are, young toddlers. We've got all these things. We've got some finances that we need to handle. We've got all these things. And then I come to you, then you add again drama. This is too much. Can I just come with you? Can't we have a difficult conversation and then it ends up well? That I feel like I'm talking to a friend. That I feel like things can turn out well. That I don't have to be anxious about you. Proverbs chapter 10, verse 12 reads, hatred stirs up conflict, but love covers all wrongs. So please avoid drama. Avoid drama. If you want to be welcoming to your spouse, avoid drama. Number 5, praise your spouse to others. In the presence of others, praise your spouse. Oh, when you speak highly of your spouse to others in the presence of your spouse and you mean it, your spouse looks forward to being with you in private. Oh, you celebrate public, and I know it is real, it is legit. The reason why we have to insist it is real and legit because there are people who will speak highly of you in public but mistreat you in private. But when you're praising your spouse in public and your spouse can tell, you actually mean it. Wow, you spoke so well of me when you introduced me. Like, wow, that's how you see me. Yeah, that's how I see you, honey. You're such a blessing. I really thank God for you. And I bless you and I treasure you. So even in private, your spouse will look forward to being around you. You're hosting people at home. You're like, hey, no, let's appreciate this darling wife of mine. Oh my goodness, look at how well this visit has been put together. This woman, oh my, I don't know where I'll be without her. Or your wife will look forward to being with you in private. Huh? Or you're telling people, you know what, this husband of mine, oh my goodness, this husband of mine is my destiny helper. This man he just met me at the right time, and I've grown so much just being loved by him. I thank you, honey. I thank you, honey. Oh, that husband will look forward to being with you in private. So celebrate, praise your spouse to others, and you mean it. Song of Solomon, chapter 3, verse 4. I have found the one whom my soul loves. I held him, not let him go. Letting people know that, hey, I found my permanent. I have found my special one. I've found my king, my queen. So we're looking at ways that you can welcome your spouse, ways that you can invite your spouse to love you and to enjoy being with you. Care about what your spouse cares about. Care about what they care about. So when you care about what your spouse cares about, it doesn't mean that you may not be full on like, this is not what I love to do. No, you just care about it. Okay, so I realize I may not particularly like football, but my spouse likes football. It's okay, cool. Oh, okay, I'll buy him or I'll buy her a football jersey. Or I realize that my spouse loves cooking. Cooking is not particularly my favorite thing, but okay, when my spouse is cooking, maybe I'll be in the presence of them in the kitchen and just keep them company because, hey, you know, it means a lot to them. So care about what your spouse cares about. You may not particularly like it, but just show some care. Like, okay, since this is important to you, okay, cool. Allow your spouse to enjoy what they care about as a hobby. So if your spouse is a hobby, like, you know, enjoy yourself in moderation. As long as your spouse can enjoy themselves, like, okay, if this makes you feel good, by all means. If going to a spa as a wife makes you feel good, by all means, enjoy yourself. You know, you're doing those nails and you're doing those nails, they're looking all wonderful. And as a husband, you're like, how all that? But it makes her feel good, let her enjoy it. As a husband is over there, he's buying himself a golf club costing so much money. As long as the golf club that he's buying is not affecting family finances, but is making him feel good, I'm like, okay, happy. It's okay, honey. So let your spouse enjoy their favorite topic, their favorite activity. If they like watching documentaries, give your spouse that space. They like politics, they like to debate about politics. It's okay, you enjoy yourself as long as it's not leading to arguments, it's not leading to it's not affecting the quality of the marriage. Enjoy those things. Your spouse will feel invited. Your spouse is going to feel invited. Number 7, give a listening ear. Give a listening ear. How to make your spouse feel welcomed. Give a listening ear. People love going where they feel heard without judgment. Can your spouse come and talk to you? No judgment. There's no repercussions. Like, I will not regret what I'm about to tell you. Just tell me. And then your spouse can heavy, they're expecting judgment, they're expecting something, but then you're like, nah, thank you for letting me know, honey. Like, that's nothing to be worried about. You know, you're telling your spouse, oh my goodness, you're going to be so disappointed in me when I tell you this. Okay, so what exactly? And then your spouse tells you, and then you're like, nah, dude, no, honestly, thank you for letting me know. It means a lot to me that you can trust me. You've made progress. Don't look down on yourself. I celebrate you still. You know, as long as your spouse doesn't feel rushed, like, oh, talk quickly, I don't have time. No, I'll hear you out. There's no fear, like, oh my goodness, how will I be received? No, you come as you are. Be that safe space, and your spouse will keep coming. Number 8, actually, release your spouse well. Release your spouse well. How? Make your spouse feel invited. Release your spouse well. So when your spouse is leaving the house or leaving you to go somewhere else, beat them a warm goodbye that will make them look forward to coming back to you. You know, hey, give them don't let your spouse leave just like that. No, let your spouse leave well, with a kiss, with a blessing, say something nice. Hey, have a safe trip, darling. Jesus, I bless you. May God bless the road that you're on. You know, just let your spouse know, like, hey, I wish you well even as you go. And when they've traveled to a long distance long distance place, you're like, hey, check up on them. Have you arrived safely, darling? How was your flight? How was your journey? How was the bus ride? You know, are you okay? Are you good? That shows care. You're inviting your spouse. Number 9, bear the fruit of the Holy Spirit. Bearing the fruit of the Holy Spirit of love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, humility, and self. When you bear all of this, your spouse is going to find you pleasant to be around. The scripture for that is Galatians chapter 5, verse 22 to 23. But the fruit is love, joy, peace, forbearance, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Against such things, there is no law. So the more you bear the fruit of the Holy Spirit, the more inviting you're going to be. The more inviting you're going to be. Number 10, we're just about to conclude. Look after the environment. Do you want your spouse to feel invited to come to you? Look after the environment. When you keep the environment of the home neat and friendly as often as you can, it invites your spouse, makes your spouse feel respected and thought of, and minimizes unnecessary argument. That, hey, I'm coming home to a good house. I'm coming home to a well-kept house. I'm coming home to a well-kept bedroom. Things are good. Things are good. Or even in the space that we're in, we can even clean it up together. We can clean up the space together. We can be able to take care of our environment together, because a chaotic environment is breeding ground for also chaotic conversations. So when you take care of your environment well together, guess what? You're inviting warm and good conversations. Number 11, be appealing and attractive to your spouse. Work on how you look. Smell good, groom yourself, be eye candy for your spouse. Present yourself well to your spouse, that your spouse can look at you and go like, whoa, you're looking good, you're smelling good. You know, you can just put on a certain scent over there that just makes your spouse feel like, wow, when you smell like this, I can't resist you. Number 12, have surprises. Have surprises. Occasionally meet your spouse's heart with random gestures, such as coming home to a gift from you, or just, you know, or a letter from you. Your spouse is just coming home to a letter from you, just some random notes that you've sprinkled for them to just, you know, just those random stuff that your spouse is feeling like, oh my, whenever I don't know what to expect when I'm around you. Yeah, sometimes you can just be like, there's not. Surprise your spouse sometimes, you know, once in a while. Do something special. You know, you're planting notes around the house for your spouse to discover. You're surprising your spouse with food that is ready when they were coming home expecting to cook. So your spouse is coming home thinking that they're going to cook, but no, you've already made plans. Food is ready, darling. You know, I was thinking about you, just wanted to surprise you, like, come home, hon. Number 13, and lastly, incorporate your spouse's preferences in what you do. Incorporate preferences. So accommodate your spouse's taste when it comes to the activities you do. You know, how you parent, the house decor, the food, make it just about you. Don't make it just about you. You can be like, hey, let me involve my spouse in this. My spouse also needs to feel loved. My spouse also needs to feel accommodated. My spouse also needs to feel like he or she has space around me, about me, what I want, what I enjoy. No. What does my spouse want? What does my spouse enjoy? How can I incorporate him or her preferences? Very, very important. Now, again, you're putting on a welcome carpet for your visitors. Can you put a welcome carpet for your spouse? Can you invite your spouse? Can you make your spouse feel like, hey, I can come home to a wonderful spouse? And not just coming home, when you meet in the car, when you meet outside, when you come to our bedroom, wherever it is, when I approach your space, I feel welcomed. I feel invited as a spouse. Very, very important. And lastly, yes, your spouse loves you, but the question is, does your spouse like you? Those are two different things. Loving you is a choice. Somebody has chosen to love you. He loves you. Your spouse will be loyal to you. Your spouse will do what is required. When you need financial assistance, you will get it. When you need perhaps something, you'll be like, okay, I've got you. I will even pray for you. I love you because I've chosen to love you. Loving is a choice, but liking you is not a choice. Liking you is dependent on how you treat your spouse. So does your spouse like you? Does your spouse enjoying time with you? Does your spouse like getting phone calls from you? like being in the same bedroom with you? Does your spouse like just hanging around you? I just can't help to be with you. Because your spouse can love you, but is not coming home because they're trying to coming home on early because they just want to be around you because when they're around you, you just do something else. You're just dramatic. You're just all these things. They're not going anywhere. They're not going to cheat. They're not going to disrespect you. They're not going to call you names. But then when they just come around you, they're like, hey, why does it have to be so difficult with you? Because you're not likable. So are you likable? Let's be likable to our spouse so that our spouse can not only love us, but also like us, but also enjoy us. May your spouse enjoy you. May your spouse enjoy you, and may you enjoy your spouse. So once again, thank you so much for tuning in to day 1 of Marriage God's Way, the month of October. Tomorrow, we're going to talk about a very, very unique topic, why romance is not enough. Are you romantic? Wonderful, but guess what? It's not enough. What kind of love do you need to have in your marriage? Yes, you're spicing things up romantically, but what more is needed? Romance is not enough. Chemistry is not enough. And then on day 3, we're going to look at the frequently asked questions. We're going to talk about sex in such a raw and filtered way. We're going to look at the different questions that people have regarding sex. So we're here to deal with Marriage God's Way. So thank you once again for tuning in. If you've not been a member of, if you've not joined the WhatsApp group, there is a link to our WhatsApp group. Let me just share the link once again. If you've not joined the WhatsApp group, please, by all means, feel free to join the WhatsApp group. That's sharing the notes, the PDF notes of the talks. That's where we're going to be sharing the recordings of the talks. And also that's where we're going to be sharing materials regarding marriage. So if you've not joined the WhatsApp group, I'm just about to share the link, and then you can feel free to join, to just click on that link, and then you can be able to join for more content, for the notes, and also to be refreshed in your marriage. So kindly join that. Thank you for that. Remember, we do this every single 1st, 2nd, and 3rd of the month. If today is your first time over here, we welcome you. Let's look at the questions. The first question, somebody is saying, how do you deal with a spouse who comes to you treating you well while carrying on a full relationship with another person and refusing to end it to the point of them starting a family with the other person? Oh my goodness. That is very painful. That is painful. That kind of a person wants to have it both ways. Want to be with you, treating you well, and at the same time wanting to be with another person. For some men, this is how some men become polygamous. They're like, you know what? I can be with different women. I don't mind. I can be with different women. For some women also, they can be like, oh, okay, I'm just want to enjoy. I can be with you as a husband. I can still be with the other person and with other people. Now that is having a player mentality where you're playing all sides and you think that you're going to enjoy. That's why we talked about in the first question that you need to decide. Are you 100% in or are you 100% out? You need to decide. And if the person perhaps is wondering like, so, and also look in what moments are they treating you well? Are they treating you well when perhaps they want to get something from you? Are they treating you well because perhaps I need to keep this bridge still on because this bridge is helping me one way or another? If I cut you off, I'm going to lose some benefits. So I need to perhaps grease you nicely so that I can just still stay with you, because that's manipulative. That's manipulative. Somebody is keeping you just because they want to get some things from you, whilst they fool around. And you just have to ask that person, what exactly do you want with those other people? Like, do you want a relationship? What exactly do you want with me? So let them state clearly, what exactly do you want? If it is a man, let a man say, hey, I want to be polygamous. If it's a woman, let the woman actually say, hey, you know what, I'm not cut out for this thing, like, hey. And so find out that, and so that now you can be able to say that when you're saying starting a family with another person, you're like, okay, family, what are you exactly doing? You're already starting another family whilst you're with me. What exactly is going on? Let the person come clean. And if they've chosen to be polygamous, if they've chosen to have, let it be clear. And that's for you now to decide. Do you want to remain with a spouse who also has got a family outside over there? It's for you to decide. Because at the end of the day, they have chosen that. They have chosen to be with multiple people. What have you chosen? Because especially when you're talking about having starting another family outside over there, That's a choice they have decided. And especially, it could be, okay, oh my goodness, something happened, so take care of that family, but you're the one that I'm actually choosing. What exactly? Let them come out clear what they're doing. And if you're okay with it, you know what? Some people have decided, I can't change this person of mine. If they decided to start a family somewhere outside of that, that's it. I'll just stick in. But then there's some people who go like, you know what? I can't put up with that. You do this kind of play, I'm out. I'm out. So let it be clear. What exactly are they doing? And then you can be able to make a decision from there, because they have decided how to live their life. You can decide how to live yours. Another person is saying, I'm trusting God to be responsive to my spouse, but also to my children. I have been very reactive, especially to my children. They are toddlers and are all over the house, climbing windows, tables, etc. I can imagine that particular age where they've got so much energy. But remember, these are children. They have not yet learned to regulate their emotions, not yet learned to regulate so much of the expectations. They just act on impulse. They act on impulse. So it's fair enough that sometimes you see them climbing and all that kind of stuff. It's of course for their security and for their safety. Just keep like this, like this, like this. But I want to encourage you. That season will not last for long. The children eventually outgrow that season. Then they outgrow that season, then you start to realize, oh my goodness, this child is very quiet these days. What's actually happening? So ask God for grace during that season, that you will carry that season well. You will, of course, be protective and be able to be like, have a safe space where they can be able to, if they play, they won't fall. And if they fall, it will be such a bad fall that it's actually harmful to their bodies. Because they're allowed to be curious how high this thing is. Let's see how we can be able to jump on. That's the age they're in. They're exploring. It's very good at the exploring. You should be grateful that you've got energized children who are very, very active and very hyper. It's better to have that than to have a child who doesn't want to explore the world. So let these children explore the world. But of course, you just make sure the environment is as padded and as careful as possible. But remembering it's only for a time. They will outgrow that season with as if they, or even less, and then before you realize it, they've transitioned into other interests. Now they want to debate with you why Ronaldo is better than Messi, and you're like, oh my goodness, these children are really, really growing. Or why pink hair is better than blue hair. You're like, okay, I've outgrown the whole climbing stuff, and now you're in a different season. So may God give you the grace, and it's good that you're self-aware as a parent and be like, hey, I have been reactive, and so from today on, be like, hey, let's be responsive. Let me be responsive to the children. Don't throw a fit. It's part of their growth, part of their journey, part of what every single child should healthily go through, that exploration stage. Just make sure the environment is safe to play around. Have some allowance for some shocks. They might draw on the wall, they might do like this, but it's for you to just correct them. Things need to be better, things need to be better like this, and eventually they will outgrow. Remember, these children are only under our roof for a very limited time. It may look long, but that time goes very, very fast. Take photos of them, even as they are cheeky. They will one time look back as they visit you as parents. They're like, and then you show them photos. You see, this was you. This was you when you're 5 years old. This was you when you're 4. Look at how cheeky you are with sugar all over you. And then they can have a good laugh. You're writing their biography. May God give you the grace as you become a responsive parent. Somebody else says, hi, Masinde, what about in situation where your spouse doesn't recognize your feelings and his actions are mean until to a point you feel alone in marriage, and now the love you had for him, feel no attachment? How can you bring back your marriage? How do you deal with a man who doesn't know how to love with actions or words? Those are two different things that you've pointed out. Now, first thing that we need to realize, we are all raised differently. Sometimes, and I see this especially when it comes to men. Some men, they don't know how to express themselves in love, to express in love and in words, partly because they grew up in an environment it was not being expressed, they're not being given that, and so they don't know how to give what they were not given. So they grew up in an environment where it was deliver, 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 be a man, be a man, be a man. So now that they are adults, they have not unlearned that. They think that still that's the way to approach in life. That's how to be as a man. That's why so many men, they can love you, but they don't know how to say I love you. In fact, they will be like, why are you saying I don't love you? I've bought you a car. And you're like, but that's not what, I'm grateful for that, but that's not really how I want to be loved. So some men struggle with that. the things to talk about over there is interrogate the childhood. How was it spouse raised? How was he raised? Because you've talked about you, your husband. How was your husband raised? What challenges did he go through? How did he experience life? And be like, okay, so this is how you grew up. And you're like, I'm going to give grace in accordance to how you grew up. That's number one. Number two, show by example, like, hey, I'm going to express with words, and you show by example. And then whenever he does any effort, even if it's not going to be full effort, any effort of something, you're like, hey, thank you for that. That really, really meant a lot to me. That really, really meant a lot to me. I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful to God. I'm grateful to you that, you know, that you've talked to me like that, that you've done something very special to me. It means a lot to me. That's the other thing. And then when you realize that you really, 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 really trying your best to create a conducive environment for your spouse, you're trying to influence them, it is not giving. Try to measure your expectations. Try to measure expectations, because sometimes our biggest pain comes with expectations. I'm expecting this. I'm expecting this. Sometimes you get to a point in marriage where you're like, you know what? Whatever it is I'm expecting, I may not be getting, but I have decided I'm still here. What are the goods that we can be able to see? Okay, we are good parents. Okay, wonderful. We are good at praying together. Okay, we are good at doing this. Okay, we are running investments well. Okay, good, good, good. What can I have to learn to perhaps not expect too much for? Okay, I may not expect, maybe it's great to have hugs, it's great to have all this kind of stuff, but maybe you're with a spouse who that doesn't come easy for them. Okay, let me moderate my expectations so I can be able to even live a good quality of life, because otherwise expectations can drain you so much to the point that your life sucks. Your life sucks. But that is good when you look at it like, okay, the marriage has got so many other wins that you look at. There's got so many other wins that there's so many places that we're winning. Maybe the place where we're not winning is the affectionate ones, and you're like, okay, how can I be able to do that? Let me appreciate this spouse. Let me celebrate this spouse. And also let's look for environments where my spouse would feel comfortable to be exposed to a different way. This is why some couples, even whenever they come for counseling, and then they realize, oh, we could have done this earlier. Or they attend a couple's event. In the couple event, they see other people relating. They're like, oh, I've learned a thing or two from there. Or they read a certain book, or they watch a certain documentary, or they attend a seminar like this one where the mind gets open. So sometimes your spouse might take a while to receive what you're telling them until somebody outside thing. Then they go like, oh. And yes, when that happens, please don't take offense. Sometimes people struggle to hear the advice from their own spouse until an outsider tells them. It's unfair, it's unfortunate, but in many situations, that's the reality. But even if your spouse gets there, telling him what you've been trying to tell her, they don't listen, and then finally an outsider tells a light bulb moment happens. Let's celebrate that light bulb moment, that, hey, finally you see what I've been saying. So I pray that you may interrogate your marriage. I pray that you may interrogate the upbringing of your spouse. I pray that you may be able to interrogate the good versus the not so good in your marriage. And does the good outweigh the not so good? The things that you're having, your expectations, and be like, you know what, I have to adjust to this, and and be able to check on that. Now, the next question, please. Hey, thank you so much for the talks. What relationship advice can you give to a couple? My husband has hurt me a lot over the years, always cheating, and every time I catch him, he says, it's nothing, I'm just flirting, and it means nothing. I have given up on this marriage. I'm just waiting for a work transfer so that we can separate. Oh my, that's I can imagine how painful it must be. It reminds me of one of the talks that we've had here on Marriage God's Way, the different forms of cheating. For so many people think that cheating is only when you have sexual intercourse, but cheating is in different forms. There's emotional, actually connecting and taking time to talk with another person more than your spouse. There's financial cheating, where you are investing more, or you're treating somebody else who's not your spouse to financial favors and some financial goodies. There's physical cheating, where there's actually a certain way you're holding and touching somebody else, not your spouse, in a very intimate way. It could be that perhaps this husband is, he could be, forgive me, I could be assuming that maybe he's saying, oh, okay, it's not like I've slept with the person, or it's not like I've been sleeping with the people. It's just flirting. It's just, so he's not aware that actually what he's doing is actually emotional cheating. And this is how some people what they're what they're on about. And so this is why it is important to and be like, okay, why are you doing this? And as we saw, as we saw in the previous month, I think how people end up cheating. One of the things that we actually looked at is like, hey, you know what? Is there a need? Is vacuum that actually exists in the marriage? One of the things that perhaps you can also look at, not to blame, is to just to interrogate if the marriage is going to work out. You know, do you two flash together? Do you two have opportunities whereby you fly together? Do you two have that kind of a thing? And if not, and if it's actually there and it's still going outside to, then you realize that this is just is being led by lust. This is somebody who's being led by selfishness, and be like, hey, this is what it is that they've decided. And what it is that I'm reading from you, I'm reading that you've actually said that you're wiki transfer and then you separate and then you just move. I don't know whether there are children involved. How deeply you two have been together. I don't know whether you've the moments that you talked about this, what has he been saying? I don't know what the state of your marriage has been besides the flirting. How have other areas been? Is your marriage well emotionally? Is your marriage well financially? Is your marriage well sexually? Is your marriage well spiritually? Is your marriage perhaps on the deathbed? Have you two tried counseling? Have you tried to talk about it? Have you told him that you want to separate before? And has he been saying that, you're just bluffing? Well, if that's the matter, then sometimes you just have to realize that if the spouse who keeps on being bent on hurting you, you have to start to protect yourself. It's good to have a spouse who, once you tell them, hey, when you do this, it hurts me, and then they listen. But when you have a spouse who's hell-bent on crushing you, hell-bent on mistreating you, then sometimes the best thing to do is just to be like, hey, I need to protect myself from you. Because let's be honest, we were not created for marriage. We were created for God's glory. We were created for purpose. We were created for something much bigger than marriage. Marriage is a union that we enter into to journey and to walk with, and only happens. So ask yourself, am I losing myself in this marriage? Am I losing myself in trying to make this marriage work? And if you are, you can be like, okay, before I make a hasty decision, God, help me to rediscover me. Help me to find me. Help me to be able to be just a healthy me, so that by the time I'm a healthy me, if this thing is still not serving me and I've tried my level best, we've tried counseling, we've tried all these things, we've tried to be able to patch things up, we've tried all these things, we've tried to fill up the vacuum, but this person still continues as they are, then maybe I just need to wake up to the realization that this person has hardened their heart. And the hardening their heart doesn't mean that it should lead to you losing your life. Losing your life doesn't mean physically. You could be losing your life emotionally. You could be losing your life spiritually. You could be losing your life as a parent, because sometimes because of the toxicity and the mess, we become bad parents. So please, if you're in that situation, protect yourself. Don't lose everything because you're with a hardened spouse. Don't lose your children and moments that you share with them because you're with a hardened spouse. Don't lose your physical health, your well-being, your peace of mind because you're with a hardened spouse. Don't lose your growth in life because you're with a hardened spouse. Don't lose even God. You're no longer worshiping. You're no longer close to God. You're no longer even relying on God because you have a hardened spouse. No, a human being in the form of a spouse mess up every single thing that concerns you. I pray that you may find strength. We are here for you, so please be able to reach out. So thank you so much for that. Somebody else says, kindly advise, how can I receive the recordings of today? I could not join on time. Thank you so much for asking that. Once again, there is a link. There is a link, a WhatsApp link. I'm going to just post it once again. I'm just going to post it. If you've not joined the WhatsApp group, please do just click on that link on the WhatsApp. I've posted it on the comment section. Click on that WhatsApp link. It's going to take you to the WhatsApp group. We share the recordings and the PDF notes after day 3. So day 1. So we shall be doing it after day 3. Somebody is saying, thank you, sir. Thank you so much for that. Thank you so much for that feedback. I celebrate that, sir. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate that. Somebody else says, this is just a message for me. Can you share the slides with us, Sam? Last year, and I already begged him, but each time he brings up the issues and hurts me with his words. He speaks hurtful words. I will secretly sometimes and just trust followed me through the journey of life. Of a truth, I regret marrying him. At any point, he calls me names and makes me feel guilty. I believe no one is perfect. Thank you so much for your vulnerability and for being honest. Once again, please join the WhatsApp group. That's where we're going to be sharing the slides and the recordings. And for the matter that you presented, I'm sorry about, when you say that you offended your husband last year, and it seems that your husband is struggling to forgive. Sometimes people struggle to forgive because of different reasons. Number one, ego. When somebody has elevated themselves to the point of like, oh my goodness, I cannot even forgive. That's number one. Number two, it could be they want to make you remember that you have done something bad, something to even the score in case they do something bad. That, you see, you did that, so I also did. It's a bargaining chip. So that's why some people don't struggle to forgive. Number three, they come from a history whereby no one was forgiving them. People are always holding grudges on them. So they're like, okay, so for me, if anyone else offends me, I'm going to hold a grudge. I'm going to hold a grudge. Number four, sometimes it is people struggle to forgive also because they've not, together as a couple, they've not taken time to process the matter. Like, hey, what exactly happened? Because processing the matter is very important. When you unpack what led to the offense, how did you get to offend each other? Because unless a couple sits down and unpack what exactly transpired, find closure on the matter, for some people, they will struggle to forgive. That's number four. I want to say this. You offended your spouse, please forgive yourself. This was a year ago, please forgive yourself. Your spouse has not forgiven you. You've tried your best to apologize. You've begged. You've done all these things. Sometimes what we're doing, we're over-apologizing. You cannot keep over-apologizing over something. You've already said, I'm sorry. You've already apologized. You've tried your best to do this, and you're like, okay, I cannot do this anymore. I cannot do this anymore. And ask yourself, was your spouse treating you in such a bad way also before your offense? The way your spouse is insulting you, the way your spouse is becoming mean to you, did it happen after you offended, or was it also there before you offended? Is this how your spouse treats you, or is it still a reactionary thing of your spouse yet forgiven you? What exactly is it? Interrogate that. Another thing that you can get to do, just as you've seen, when you've tried your best and you're dealing with a hardened, know you said that you regret marrying him. I don't know whether that's an objective statement or that's a statement born out of emotions. Interrogate and be like, okay, let's weigh the good and the not so good in this marriage. What have been the good? What I've actually been doing? What are the areas where this is my spouse's weakness? Does my spouse perhaps have a hot temper? Does my spouse perhaps have, a loose tongue? Okay, that's the what about the good? Are there any good? Is there any good? And does the good far outweigh the not so good, or do the not so good far outweigh the good? Where are they at? What are the things that your spouse has been complaining about you? What exactly need to do? Have you two also tried to unpack this, whether together as a couple or in counseling? And again, change our spouse. We cannot change our spouse. We don't have 100% control of our spouse. The best we can do is influence and impact our spouse. And even our influence and our impact is limited. Feel like you have done so much and your spouse is still bent on seeing you bad, your spouse is still bent on being hardened, then you just come to the realization, okay, this is where my spouse is at. I will still respect my spouse. I will still do what needs to be done in this home as I'm in this home, but I will not forget about me. I will love myself. I will thrive. I will exceed in life. I will find out my purpose if I haven't found, and I'm going to grow and I'm going to worship God and I'm going to be the best version of myself. Sometimes when we focus on us and our healing, it heals our marriage. Sometimes when we focus on us, our spouse starts to see us in a different way. Our spouse starts to see us, oh, you're no longer that complaining, washed down, low self-esteem kind of a spouse anymore. You're this confident, glowing, attractive spouse. So sometimes that helps also in marriage. So by all means, please don't forget yourself. Don't forget yourself, regardless of, even if your marriage is good. This is a message now for all of us. Even when your marriage is good, don't forget yourself. Don't forget yourself. Marriage was not meant and finish you and make you lose your identity and make you lose yourself and make you lose your. No, marriage is meant to be a blessing to you and to journey with you through life. Now, the next question somebody else has asked, My spouse has been cheating for 16 years now. We have 3 kids. He's an absent spouse. He has brought infections time and time again. I'm now done with him, but he doesn't want to let go of me. He still wants me and not ready to change. He threatens to kill myself if I leave. Thank you very much for this question. These are heavy things that we're dealing with. Now, what you're dealing over here right now, this is straight up manipulation, where somebody is mean to you, somebody wants to crush you, and when you want to free yourself, they're over there telling you that to kill you. Now, do you have evidence of this? Is it said in text message? Is it said in phone calls? Have you reached out to somebody that you can trust, that can actually be there to work with you? Is there a support system that you have in your between the two of you? Parents, whether it is counselor, whether it is pastor, that you can go ahead and be like, hey, this is the situation. And are you financially prepared to make the move? Are you financially move? What has been keeping you there? Is it because you're not ready, or is it because of the threats? And if your spouse has been threatening you that they will kill you if in case you leave, have they been physically violent before? Is there a history of that, or is it just straight up threat? And you look at it and ask yourself, okay, I need to find people who that I can trust. Thank you so much for trusting us with this. Thank you so much for, because you say that you're cheating for 16 years now. This is somebody who has decided and who's been so deep in it. You have 3 kids. What kind of a father has he been to those 3 kids? What state have those 3 kids been in? Is everything well with the children? He's an absent spouse, you say. When you mean absent, do you mean physically present? Do you mean he rarely comes home on time? Do you mean what exactly is that? And and he's brought infections time and time again. So already over there, we're seeing somebody who's promiscuous and sleeping around, and you're done with him and he doesn't want to let go of me. So you've interrogated this marriage, and maybe you've come to that point whereby you just want to protect yourself because your health is on the line physically, your health is on the line sexually, your health is on the line emotionally and mentally. You don't need to do this alone. And I want to encourage, reach out to someone, reach out to people that you can trust, reach out to a support system, especially when your life has been threatened, to interrogate that. Very, very important. Reach out. If in case within your circle you're struggling to find people that you can reach out to, please reach out to us. Reach out to us. I'm going to post the number over there on the screen that we can be able to reach out and we can get to justice. In case you're finding it difficult to find support system to work with you through that. I'm just going to post up the number 0721-5909-54 is the number, my personal number. Feel free to reach out. Then a different question. A different question says, let me go to the question. We're in a long distance marriage, but sometimes I kind of feel like my husband doesn't want to come home. It's easier for him to travel to see me and the children than it is for me to go. How do I handle this? Thank you so much for this. These are some of the challenges of long distance marriage. I don't know whether you've had this conversation with him. Yeah, you say you feel like this. Have you perhaps have you had this conversation with him whereby you're like, oh, okay, thank you so much, honey. You come to see us. We really, really thank you for that. It means a lot, because for some people, they see that like, you know what, I am coming home. Home is very, very important. I am going home. That's how some people think. Some other people, just as you said, you know what, some people just, they're like, oh, I do that instead of you coming because I want to protect this space that I'm in, a long distance. I want to protect this space, and so I don't want you here. I don't want you here. I'd rather go there. So we don't know what exactly. But the question is, have you had conversations together as to, hey, you know what, thank you so much for coming. I was thinking, honey, by the way, maybe 2 months from now, maybe I would love to just come, maybe even clean up where you're staying and even cook for you, and we can just be able to have a good time. We start with you, and then you progressively now bring in, okay, we can actually also come and visit as a children. Don't say it as if it's an issue. Don't say it as if it's a problem. Don't say it as if you really, really would like, or because you think something fishy is being done, because that is going to push your spouse away. So that's the first thing. The second thing also, we're looking at how do you invite your spouse? How do you welcome your spouse? How is your connection emotionally? Are you two connecting well emotionally? Does your spouse enjoy your company? The whole thing about love and love. Are you two liking each other to the point that even your spouse can miss you, to the point that even when you say, Next time, I'd love to come and see you instead. Your spouse will be like, hey, come on. So ask yourself. So the first thing that we talked about, make a suggestion, talk about it, and be like, hey, I would love to come to just make sure that, I'll just stay for just a day or two, cook for you and stuff like that. I just want to treat you and make you feel good. Number two, interrogate. How have you two been connecting emotionally? How have you two been connecting emotionally? Because when you two are well connected emotionally, it's going to be fun and exciting. Because when you're connected emotionally, and then with somebody, and then that person is like saying, I want to come and visit you, I want to come where you stay. You're like, come. In fact, what have you been waiting for? Just come. It could be also your spouse is wondering whether you also want to come. Maybe your spouse is wondering, you've never asked. You've never asked. So also check on that and maybe that's going to be of help. Somebody else says, how can I successfully restore trust in marriage? Very important. How can I successfully restore trust in marriage? Question is, how was trust broken and who broke it? Was it you? Was it your spouse? Or was it the both of you? How was trust broken? Number one, was it broken because of a lie that was said? Was it broken because of decisions that were made? Maybe perhaps somebody spent family finances on something else. Was it broken because a rumor was spread? Was it broken because of infidelity? Was it broken because, I can't trust you with information? How was it to interrogate? How was trust broken? That's number one. Number two, what role did you play in breaking the trust? For example, let's say your spouse lied to you because of a particular matter. In as much as the lying is very, very bad, you ask yourself, and then you talk to your spouse tells you, hey, I struggle to tell you the truth sometimes because of the consequences. Then you're like, okay. No, how can I make it comfortable for you to be telling me the truth? And also, how can you learn and be like, hey, I don't need to lie. Let's be telling each other the truth. Okay. What is your role? What was your role in the trust being broken? If you're the one who broke trust, perhaps because of infidelity, you broke trust because of financial mismanagement, then balances like, hey, from now on, I want to involve you in my decisions. From now on, I want to be more accountable. From now on, and the person who's broken trust, don't wait for your spouse to be asking for information. Willingly give it, even without being asked. Like, hey, I want you to know this is where I'm going so that you don't doubt. I'm even going to send you screenshots. I'm going to send you these kind of places. I'm going to involve you. I'm going to tell you who I'm with. When it comes to finances, if it's financial breach of trust, I'm going to involve you in the financial decisions that I make. As a joint bank account, whether it is, just informing you what it is that I'm doing. The person who's broken trust should be generous with information. Even when you're not asked, I'm going to give it generously because I want you to trust me. If the trust was broken because of the phone, I'm going to not be so protective over the phone. Like, hey, you know what? Nah, I'm suspicious. I see you getting close to my phone. I walk away. I see this. No. I'm going to handle you in a very, very good manner and be like to show you that, hey, there's nothing that I'm hiding. You can trust me. And remembering that trust takes time. It takes time to rebuild trust. It takes time to rebuild trust. So in case your spouse, the one who broken, ends up venting, ends up saying, hey, I don't trust you, just chill, be like, hey, I understand where you're coming from, and thank you so much. I'm hoping that we can pull through this. You keep on assuring your spouse. You keep on being patient. When your spouse is venting, when your spouse is trying to express that, hey, I'm patient with your spouse. Somebody else says, what do you do when the man refuses to work and lets the wife be the breadwinner? I am tired, and I think my understanding has led him to relax. I have a monthly expenses written out, and I want to share this with him so he can pick up the slack. I am very tired and feel like I'm doing this all alone. What can I do to get him to take any job? He's waiting for a high-end job instead of just working to make ends meet. It is weighing heavy on me. Oh my goodness. It's a heavy thing. I can imagine how it actually feels, especially when it comes to matters of finances, which can cause such a rift in marriage. Something to interrogate. Has it been like this throughout the marriage? Has it been like this throughout the marriage? When you married him, was he like this? Was he just wanting to be, just taken care of? Or was he having a job and then he lost the job? How has he been? How has he been before? What happened? Is this a depressed man we're dealing with? Because sometimes we're looking at our spouse and our spouse is like, oh my goodness, they've gone through something and they've reached such a dead end emotionally and mentally. Are you seeing that? Are you seeing somebody who's perhaps lost fire, lost drive, lost be like, okay, what exactly happened? And number 3, is this a man who has identified his legacy and purpose? Because there's something about when a man has identified his legacy and purpose, he won't even need another person to supervise him. So if this is a man who perhaps is hasn't identified his legacy and purpose, maybe perhaps that's to be able to talk about, asking him questions such as, you know what are you so passionate about? What do you want to be remembered for? What do you want to be the mark that you leave in this world? And interrogate his life. How has his life been? What are those highlight moments that he's actually felt like he's lived a fulfilled life? And asking this, there's a question that I usually ask I like asking men. What do you want to be remembered for when you die? Eventually, you're going to die as a man. What do you want to be remembered for? Because that's a question that gets men to wake up. Because most men, when they start thinking about legacy, they start thinking about legacy. So what do you want to be remembered for? There's a verse in the Bible that I love reading. It says, and David fulfilled his purpose and then he died. You ask him, what is that thing? What is that thing? And then help him to understand that, okay, now that you've discovered your purpose, why don't you maybe perhaps get a job that will lead to that, or get a job that is going to equip you and give you capacity in order to fulfill that thing. Because when a man has a vision, he will not need supervision. A vision, his own personal vision, he will not need supervision. You won't be the one to remind him, wake up, you're not doing this, you're not doing this, you're not doing this. Because the more you do that to a man who doesn't have a vision, he's just going to switch off. But once a man has a vision that burns deep inside of him, you'll find him waking up at 3 a.m. You'll find him waking up at 6. You'll find him, even if he's not employed, he's after something. He's going to study. You're going to see somebody waking up. And maybe that's where you need to go. Find out what is this man's purpose. Find out what is the vision. Find out what is that thing that fires him up. Find out what is that thing. Help him journey with him. And there's a book that I could recommend. It's called The Greatness of Kings. It's a book that I've actually written. I usually, it's dedicated to men. So in case you need that book, please reach out and I'll be able to reach out to the number. I'll be able to give it out to you, so that now it's a book that actually it's for sale, but for this particular question, the person who's asked this question, you can be able to just get that book. I'm going to gift you that book and you can be able to just give it to your husband. Maybe it's going to help just to help him find out his purpose and wake him up and just get him fired up for life. A man with a vision does not need supervision. And I pray he finds his own vision that he can wake up to. Pastor, how do we live out marriage faithfully when our spouse is narcissistic and the relationship feels one-sided? Thank you so much for that question. I am particularly cautious on using the word narcissist because, you know, I would want to substantiate that phrase to be substantiated. What be seen as a narcissist? What have they been doing? But if, for example, what you're talking about is the spouse who is just thinking about themselves, the spouse who perhaps is not minding full of other people's opinion, other people's preferences, let's interrogate that. Have they been like that ever since the beginning of the marriage? Or is this something that actually started? When did it start growing? Is this misunderstanding? Is this unmet needs? What I've learned about marriage. In marriage, we're dealing with a clash of perspectives. You have a spouse, we have a wife with her own perspective and a husband with their own perspective. And that can help bring about healing in marriage is when both perspectives, because maybe perhaps that same person is also wondering like, oh my goodness, I feel understood, I'm being labeled and stuff like that. So can some interrogation be done? How did the marriage start? How has it been transpired? What are the Bible says, catch the little foxes that come to ruin our garden. What have been the little foxes of the marriage? And you're like, oh, let's look at the little foxes. What have been those things that have been challenging the marriage? And be like, okay, these have been our little foxes. What have been the areas whereby there's been a lot of misunderstandings? You've talked about narcissistic. What have been those moments where those traits of narcissism have been displayed? You know, and you get to unpack that. You ask yourself, okay, so this is what I'm complaining about my spouse. What is my spouse complaining about me? Because Many times we're looking at our spouse's wrongs, we're not seeing our own wrongs. And you ask yourself, okay, my spouse is wrong. What are my wrongs? What are the areas my spouse has been complaining? This is not to take, there are people who are narcissistic. There are people who are difficult. There are people who are like that. Can a narcissist change their behavior? We serve a God who transforms people. We serve a God who was able to transform Saul to Paul. We serve a God who to transform. And I say this confidently because I've seen lives being transformed. It's not a guarantee, because for people to be transformed, they have to be willing participants. As you've seen today, God will not force his way in our lives. Can people transform? Yes, including the person that we think is the most difficult, including the person that we think is the most difficult and most stubborn to change. The thing is, do they want to change? Have they arrived at the season where they're, and will you be able to get there? And thank you so much for what it is that actually you've said. The characteristics of a narcissist: lacks empathy. They rarely consider or care about your feelings with no remorse. Is self-centered. The relationship revolves around their needs, desires, and image at all costs. Manipulates or controls. Struggles with accountability. Seeks constant validation. Thank you so much for this definition. What I was trying to say is that, you know what, I appreciate the definition is what have been the that have qualified to call the spouse a narcissist. You know, it's something to unpack. This is why I really love counseling, because we unpack these things. We just don't come with, he's this, she's this. No, let's unpack. What experience have you had in the marriage that causes you to say this? When you say that your spouse is selfish, what experience have caused you to say this? What experience? What have you gone through? What have been the challenges in the marriage? Which is why counseling is very deep, it's very broad. We get to unpack these things because there's so many layers. Human beings have got so many layers and so many dynamics. So I appreciate that. This is, again, just to say, let's substantiate. We're looking at what can be done to improve the marriage. And also, I've also given that caveat that I appreciate that, yes, there are people who are narcissists, proper narcissists, like really, you can't deal with them. Really, you try and you're like, I can't deal with this. And when you're in such a situation and you're such a marriage whereby you have, it's one-sided, and somebody, despite all, like you've tried to show empathy, you've tried to be understanding, you've tried all these things, you've tried counseling, you've tried every single thing, and you realize you're dealing with a difficult person and they've hardened their heart, you have the option. You always have three options. Option number one, do I end this marriage? Do I end this marriage? I'm done. You have option number two, do I maintain the status quo? Let's let things continue as they are. Let things continue as they are, me hurting, them hurting me. Or option number three, you know, do we work on this marriage? Do you work on this marriage? So you've got all those three options, and it's for you to decide. It's up for you to decide. And sometimes there can also be an, when you're trying to make it work and you're like, you know what, I don't want out of the marriage. I'm trying to make it work, but I don't have a willing partner. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to focus on myself and grow and find me, find my growth. I'm not going to be disrespectful. I'm going to do what needs to be done. I will appreciate my spouse. I will love on my spouse. I will care for my spouse. If we've got children, we shall raise children. We shall do all these things. But I will not have expectations of this amazing having spouse. I will accept this is my reality. I will do what needs to be done, but I will focus on me. I want to grow. I want to find my own fire. I want to fulfill life. I want to come back home to sleep, even though I'm sleeping to somebody next to somebody. I'm going to sleep and I'm going to sleep knowing that, hey, I'm living a fulfilled life, still respecting the one I am with. Sometimes that fourth option works wonders over a period of time, because now your spouse who's expecting you to complain, your spouse who's expecting you to always be, oh, this, oh, this, they're expecting you to be defeated, they're expecting you to be stressed, they're seeing a glowing you, they're seeing a thriving you, and a glowing and thriving you who's not disrespectful, very, very mindful, doing all that needs to be done, but glowing, thriving, not stuck on, oh, you hurt me, oh, why do you do this, oh, why do you always do this? And you realize the more you show up like that, the more you become attractive to you, and you might become even attractive who has been mistreating you in the event that they want to grow and change. So sometimes you also have that fourth option, whereby I'm not going anywhere, I'm not leaving the marriage, but I'm not going to have expectations. I've accepted the fact that I'm married to somebody who is not going to be so loving the way I want them to be loving. I've accepted. So I'm going to respect them. I'm going to be mindful. I'm going to be caring. I'm going to fulfill my responsibilities, but I'm also not going to forget myself. I will have fun. When my spouse mistreats me, insults me, it's okay. I'm not going to lose sleep. They're not my God. I've decided to stay, but they're not going to determine and dictate my life. I'm not going to be disrespectful, but I'm not going to put so much weight on every single thing. I'm going to thrive and I'm going to excel because life doesn't wait for you. We are now on October 10th, 2025. This year is about to come to an end. Before you know it, 2026, 2027. So if you keep crying the same tears and if you keep wasting your years over who has decided to hurt you, who's losing? You. So you can decide to wake up and be like, nah, I want to live life. Living life doesn't mean that you start doing cheeky stuff. It doesn't mean that now you start putting down your spouse. That is tit for tat. Living life means done. I will play my role, but I'm not going to stop living because my marriage is not so pleasant. I'm going to thrive and excel. Somebody else says, my spouse is always complaining from when he wakes up until he lays down. It's draining. When I tell him, he blames me and the kids. He takes all credit for the good, even when kids do well, and blames everyone for everything. I'm tired. When I tell him, he goes off and starts blaming again. This is exhausting. I can imagine how this is exhausting. I can imagine as a wife. And I would speak, allow me to just speak to men. I think men, sometimes our biggest challenge is our identity. We need to find an identity. We need to find an identity. We need to find an we grow and have a great identity and a great purpose that we thrive for, a vision that we thrive for. As men, we stop becoming complainers every single time complaining. We start becoming useful. We start adding value because as men, we are solution providers. Where you put a grown man, solutions abound. Solutions abound. We just give solutions. We love being okay. Yeah, okay, we're not going to complain. We're going to find solutions. So what is the problem? Okay, is this? Oh, let's find a solution. And when we have a strong identity, even as men, we take correction. Because a man who wants to grow welcomes correction. You can confront me. You can tell me, hey, you don't like the way I approach this. And I'm actually going to be grateful. Thank you for that. Because it makes me a better man. You're helping me to become a better man because I want to be a better man. Because that's what men do when they have a strong identity or when they thrive to have a strong identity. And as men, the reason why this is important because families are called by our names. We pride ourselves in being heads of the families. You know, this is what we say, like, oh yes, we there, what do we want? We want to be known as Superman, people who've saved the day. Why don't we save the day at home? Why can't our wives be able to be like, hey, honey, you've saved the day, thank you. Why can't our children be able to say, hey, you've saved the day, instead of everybody, oh my God, when dad is around, it's just tense. So this is my message to men. Let's get our identity intact. Sometimes I know it's difficult because society has painted us a certain type of way. Many of us did not grow up with such a healthy bond with our fathers. Many of us were not taught how to be men. You know, I have this forum for men called Wanaume Assembly. And I remember one time just asking, who taught you how to be a man? Many men, almost 80% said no one. It was trial and error. Another question that I asked, who has a great relationship or had a great relationship with their father? 30%. Only 30%, meaning 70%, according to that sample, not so great relationship or any relationship with their father. Most of us don't know how to express our frustrations. Most of us, we put our center and our meaning on money. So when you don't have money, we feel useless. And as men, man to man, your worth is more than money. Just because you're struggling financially doesn't mean you're not man enough. Just because things are not going well doesn't mean that it is over for you. You can rise up. We need you as men. And this I'm speaking to my fellow brothers. We need you. When we get our act together, identity together, when we get our vision intact, guess what? We add value. We add value. We become solution providers. And if so, if you're a man who's lost hope, if you're a man who perhaps who's feeling that, you know what, things are not going so great, if you're a man who's feeling, you know what, people around me, they don't see me as somebody who's adding any value, guess what? Let's rise up. Let's rise up. Let's rise up. We need you. You've got something inside of you. Don't let another go with you just feeling sorry, you just feeling down, you just feeling wasteful, you just complaining. Get up. And if you're a wife, if you're a woman, and it's got a man who perhaps is feeling lost, speak life into him. Speak life into him. And in case he's dropped the ball, and be like, hey, you can rise up. We believe in you. And in fact, that statement, we need you. There's a song by a lady called Jill Scott. I'd want us to listen to when you have a moment, by Jill Scott. It's called We Need You. And it's a woman just telling the man, we need you. There's so many things we can do in this home without you as a man, but no, we need you. We need you. So men, we need you. And men, when you mess up, when you fall, let's rise up. The righteous fall 7 times, but they keep getting back up. As a man, may you be a solution provider. May you be a reason why people can say the day has been saved. And if you develop a culture of saving the day as a man, you will feel good about yourself. You will feel fulfilled. Let's be Superman in our own homes. Let's save the day. Wearing those capes that may not be seen, but God sees them. We need you. Now, the next question. Wow, I'm just loving this. People really came in with so much today. Somebody says, my husband and I are raising 4 children together, him and 2 from me. My stepson, who is 15 years old, has consistently been rude and disrespectful toward me. I feel like I cannot correct him or set any boundaries because my husband owns him. Whenever I bring up my concerns, my husband treats it like a courtroom case, placing him level as his child rather than supporting me as his partner. Recently, when my husband left for 2 weeks, left to care for the children. During that time, my stepson's behavior became even more disrespectful. When I tried to discuss it with my husband, instead of addressing the issue, he defended his son. I feel exhausted, disrespected, and tired of constantly undermined in my own home. I'm no longer willing to be treated as if my role carried no weight. At this point, I feel like leaving this marriage maybe the only way forward. I've told my husband that if he can't correct him, I'm not feeling. I enjoy cooking for the children, helping with their homework, and taking them to sports, dance, and volleyball and a lot. But my stepson constantly argues with me. Even when I point out or try to help, he plays the victim and behaves abusively. Each time he promises to change, but I'm scared that one day I'll lose my temper and hurt him. And I never want to do that. I never want that to happen. What should I do? Thanks so much for that question. Stepson is 15 years old. Already that says something. This is a teenager we're dealing with. And teenagers sometimes can be volatile. They are at the crossroads. They're trying to find their own identity. They're trying to find their own space. They're trying to they found this, oh, now I'm grown. I've got this deep voice. My body has grown. Now no one can tell me anything. That's a very volatile stage for so many teenagers. So that's the first thing to be mindful of. The thing to be mindful of is the challenges of blending families. Blending families, ideally, when you're blending a family, it's good to have an orientation, a walk-in where you're preparing psychologically for what's about to happen. I don't know if you two went through any form of therapy, prepared yourselves, asked the questions in case of this and this happening, in case this happens, what you're going to do. I don't know if you went through preparation for that so that you can be able to foresee these things before they happen. So that's number one. I know you say that you complain to your husband about, hey, this son, this son, this son, this son. Appreciate your husband. Tell him, you know what, you're a great father. You're a great father. I admire how you've raised these children. I admire even how that you change your approach. Instead of complaining, he does this, your son does this, your son does this, change the approach. Be like, hey, I really do. You're such an amazing father. And I see what it is that you're doing. Like, wow, I pray that the children can, like you're raising them well. And he starts feeling good about himself. Because many times very defense about children, children, because it's almost feels like, oh, I'm not a good enough parent. I'm not this. You're complaining. So when you switch it and be like, hey, let me see what it is that you're doing. Let me appreciate. Sometimes you overlook some of these mistakes, some of these things. You're like, I'm going to overlook and just appreciate. That's now on the father. On the son side, you know what? He says that he's going to change and stuff like. Sometimes he says that he's going to change and remember, this is a teenager. This is a teenager who perhaps is struggling. Maybe he was there when perhaps things weren't so good with the father and the father's previous love life. So perhaps we've got layers upon layers to what to deal with. But what we know is that whenever a teenager feels like they've got somebody who believes in them,